côté Madagascar, on partage effectivement cette même limite qui est de savoir où trouver les fonds et comment...
I'm not sure that your microphone is... Try again. No, try and one more time.
Okay. Je disais qu'on partage également la même contrainte à Madagascar, à savoir comment trouver les fonds et une fois qu'on sait où sont les fonds, comment pouvoir les débloquer. Donc il y a plusieurs étapes. Mais je reste persuadé, et je parle bien sûr en mon inconscience, que si le projet est bon, le financement devrait suivre. Il faut que ça réponde à une demande, il faut que ce soit un projet bien ciblé, avec des objectifs concrets, mesurables, timés dans le temps, et qui sert effectivement à des objectifs du millénaire, par exemple, qui est la réduction de la pauvreté. Et je dirais aussi qu'il ne faut pas attendre tout le temps, je dirais, de l'international. Il faut peut-être aussi réussir à convaincre les investisseurs locaux, la population, parce qu'il y a des gens qui ont de l'argent, Madagascar ou dans des PMA, si eux-mêmes n'investissent pas dans leur pays, c'est peut-être pas un bon signal envoyé ailleurs.
Good point, thank you very much. Now, I know we've got a question here. Any other hands? Just so I can get a sense of whether we're going to move around the room a little bit. Okay, one over there as well. Lovely, yes, sir, at the back. I still don't think that microphone's working. Sorry, we've got another one. And if you could tell us who you are as well.
Yeah. This is Ravi Bhattrai from Ministry of Commerce and Supplies, Nepal. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the presentation. They were very pragmatic and very useful. I agree with all the points that were made in the presentations, but in addition to that, I would like to comment that for the development partners, it is not always required to provide technical and financial assistance in itself. They can also change the mode of cooperation, like they can promote export market in the developed countries. They can create a joint mechanism with LDCs to promote tourism in the developed countries to promote export. And then they can also share best practices, which will be very useful for the least developed countries because they lack those type of capacity. And then they can also provide some sort of trainings or human resource development, which will support, and it will not have additional burden on those development partners. I think we should consider about those things also. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And just behind you as well, another gentleman.
My name is Chikuko from Myanmar. Regarding about the, I'm a representative of CSO of Myanmar Resource Foundation from Myanmar. Regarding about tourism-led growth and inclusive sustainable development issue, I would like to ask and I would like to request international resource here. That is, actually one of our contact from Turkey, he wants to come, he wants to visit to Myanmar, but the visa is very difficult. Also, you may notice in our past, in Nagit cyclone, you know, there was so much queue in Thailand to get the visa for our country. So I would like to ask and request that is, how can you help us so that our government to understand? I understand to our government also because they are afraid of, you know, some intelligence will come in for, you know, politics and so on. But then, here I would like to, you know, request, special request. So how can you find the way? And also, how can I have this, all of the participant contacts? I would like to have. Thank you so much.
I'm sure the contacts will be readily available. A ready answer for the question might not be quite so obvious. Jeffrey, briefly, we'll pick up some more.
Yeah, it's on the question of visas, really, not to the specific situation in Myanmar, because it's an evolving situation and because visas are closely linked to geopolitical developments. But it's evident to me that poor countries, for the most part, are shooting themselves in the foot about the visa situation. Quite often, visas are put in place because rich countries, which are also very silly on this issue, put in expensive and difficult visa situations. So they say, well, we'll do the same thing. And you're really compounding the problem and shackling your exports. And I will just say that I'm involved with the World Economic Forum. We have a project at the moment precisely on the issue of e-visas. And the forum itself will not be able to do anything about it, but it's pretty good at doing research and pointing out where the advantages can be made. If you have a simple e-visa system, Australia, to me, has been the best example for years. When you're going to Australia, you apply for a visa, it's electronic. If you're okay, it goes through automatically. If you're not okay, you get a notification. You can do it on your iPhone now. This is a very serious area which is inhibiting exports.
Jeffrey, thank you very much. Sir, you have a microphone down the front, please. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, let me first express my apology for being an outsider because I don't involve myself in tourism on a day-to-day basis, but I'm attending the General Conference on the LDCs, so I thought it's relevant for me to attend this particular forum.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. I happen to work for the Common Fund for Commodities, and I come from Tanzania, and that's why perhaps I'm interested in tourism because Tanzania is one of the tourist centers, and the people from Tanzania are here, so I'm not speaking for them, but I have a question to the panel. I apologize also if this question was raised yesterday and it was adequately addressed. I wanted to pick up from what I heard from the professor, the first presenter, when I think he mentioned figures of the growth of tourism, but a kind of a relatively lower end product retained by the LDCs themselves, if I picked it correctly. That if it is 11%, but what is it that goes to the LDCs? My question, panel, is, are there strategies whereby you can expand, you can maximize what eventually goes to the LDCs? Because with countries who don't have any control of airlines, who don't control hotel chains, really what goes to the LDCs, they trickle. So I wanted to know whether maybe you addressed this yesterday, but if not, I'm interested to know what are the strategies to expand what goes into the LDC's, kitty, as it were. My second question is to Madam of the EIF. I know her fund is set to address the supply side constraint of LDCs, I hope. But it's a huge challenge because the supply side constraint of LDCs in terms of infrastructure, even when you talk of tourism, you need to improve the infrastructure to the tourist areas. I don't know how adequate you feel about your fund, whether it really is sufficient to address the issues that are out there. And I wanted to know how you are linked with a similar facility in WTO, the aid for trade, because it's a huge challenge. I don't know really whether you can really make an impact for LDCs to really feel that they are being adequately addressed, the issues that confront them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll hold those questions for the moment. There's another hand up at the back.